Good morning, folks. Welcome to Wishwell Farms. My name's Jason. Today is Friday, another huge picking and packing day here on the farm as we prepare for our 6 farmers market locations tomorrow morning. And my brother's wife is here, and I want to tell you about her channel real quick. This is Joel's wife, Jody, and she recently started a new YouTube channel. Tell everybody what it's about.
So it's just about my little hobby farm. I have baby doll Southdown sheep, and I have goats, and it's kind of just following our life around. There's some snippets of Joel in every video too, just kind of what he's up to for the week. And yeah, it's been a fun little project.
And tell us the name of the channel one more time.
Oh yeah, it's called Little Wishes Farm.
Okay.
Yep.
I will drop the link to her channel down in the description box. So I know a lot of you have been wondering why I don't have livestock. So here's your chance to see some livestock on the Wishwell Farms property. It's currently 7:15. The crew should be arriving here shortly, and we're gonna start the day off with harvesting some sweet corn. I'm gonna put that up on time lapse for you right now so you can see us harvesting our 400 dozen ears of sweet corn for our 6 market locations. Now we already have about 250 dozen in the cooler that we picked yesterday, so adding 400 dozen to that, we should be in good shape for tomorrow. After that, we're gonna pick cantaloupes and zucchini and cucumbers and some eggplant and get all those watermelons washed that we picked up yesterday. And then I'm gonna get busy loading these 4 box trucks, actually 5 box trucks. We got a 5th one out there and both of our mobile market trailers. We're making one final pass through cantaloupe patch number 2, and they're pretty much done. We're almost halfway through and we've picked 5. There's a couple right there in row 1. Just a bunch of empty vines and morning glory left out here. Time to spray them and mow them down. And patch number 3 is on the other side of the zucchini, kind of in between the 2 zucchini patches over there. They're not ready yet. They're probably a week off at least. So those 3 just finished up zucchini and cucumbers a little bit ago. There wasn't much, like 4 or 5 tubs, which I'm kind of glad that the yields were down because we're pretty stacked up in our cooler right now. I want to get through this weekend, get it cleaned out, start getting caught up a little bit. Then some of these crops will start making a comeback maybe midweek to late next week when we'll be ready for them and have more room for them for our final big farmers market day on August 30th, not September 30th. Getting ahead of myself. I wish it was September 30th, but nope, Labor Day weekend should be pretty good. The only problem is I found out that the Ohio State-Texas ball game is at noon next Saturday. So that is going to hurt our sales quite a bit. I was hoping it was a 3:30 game or a night game, but nope, it's a noon game, and always hurt sales in the past. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. All right, we gotta make one more pass down the other side of this cantaloupe patch, then we'll head back up to the barn to wash watermelons and pack corn. So right over there on the other side of the zucchini is our final cantaloupe patch, planting number 3. There's only 4 rows there. You might be able to see some of the melons. I can see some big ones right over there. They're starting to size up and get their netting. So probably later next week they'll be ready to start harvesting. The morning glories are really starting to take off out here. They're kind of pretty. 2 different shades of purple right here. But I'm gonna get those sprayed and mowed down before they go to seed. We got a lot of corn to pack up today. Probably 400 to 450 dozen. And as you can see, it's just us 3. Elijah is cleaning out some tubs that had some veggie trash in them. He'll be here joining us here in a little bit. But this is a slow process. I don't know, it'll only take us like 40 minutes, but it just seems like it takes forever. But we're whittling away at this wagon pretty good. We got 1 skid already done. We need about 5 skids. So I wanted to address 2 things that I get a lot of questions about when it comes to our corn harvesting method. I've had a lot of people ask, why don't we fill the tubs out in the field as we're picking? And there are several reasons that doesn't work. The obvious one is how many tubs we are filling. Each skid holds 20 tubs. We're filling 5 skids. So we're gonna have over 100 tubs. There's no way possible we could fit 100 tubs. Can you imagine trying to put 100 tubs of corn in here? And you know, once you get 3 tubs high, it becomes a tipping hazard. I mean, you can see the full one back there behind me, it's 5 high. 5 skids that high would not stay in this wagon. They'd be rocking all over the place. We would have to, yeah, it would take longer. We'd have to pick and bring it over and set it inside these tubs. If we tried to throw it, it would just bang on the side of the tubs and damage every year. And you can't just loose fill these tubs. We're hand placing them in here, give them a little shake, spread them out a little bit to make sure we're getting our 4 baker's dozens of 52 ears in each tub. So that's the first thing. So absolutely no way, no how we could harvest it by putting it directly in the tubs. The only time we've ever done it that way was when we used to grow white corn. I used to grow white sweet corn for over 20 years. It's probably been 6, 7 years since we've grown it. We've just done exclusively bicolor now, but we used to grow white, yellow, and bicolor. The demand kept dropping, so we eliminated those 2 and just focused on bicolor. It's kind of the best of both worlds. The other thing I wanted to address is, why don't I use a sweet corn harvester? Why are we picking all this corn by hand? So the short answer is, new sweet corn harvesters are about $70,000 for a 1-row picker. I can't justify that kind of expense on my small 25-acre sweet corn farm. You know, we did have 40 acres at one time. It might have made sense then, but not with only 20, 25 acres. And next year I might only be growing about 10 or 15. So I know there's used pickers out there. That might make sense, but the problem is the picker picks every ear. Unripe ears, overripe ears, raccoon damage, bird damage, smut, the miniature second ear that often is not marketable and would have to be pulled out, or you know, we don't pick those. So everything in this wagon is 100% good, well 99.9% good, and we're packing every ear ready for sale. So if we brought back wagons full of machine picked corn, I'd have to have a sorting shed, a packing line to pick out all the garbage, all the damaged ears, all the miniature ears, the diseased ears, which is smut, which is not a lot of that these days, but you know, there is still some out there from time to time. So that creates a whole different problem in my little barn. I don't have a sorting line, a place to have the corn maybe conveyored off or gently dumped off into a conveyor line where the crew could line up and pull out the good ones and pack them into crates or boxes if you're wholesaling. So we would still have to do this, but we would, in addition, be pulling out all the junk. So I guess that turned into a long answer, but that's why we don't use a harvester. If you have any other questions about how we pick our corn, why we pick our corn this way, just leave me a comment down below. Well, it is now about 11:30 a.m. We just finished packing up all of our corn. We ended up with 436 dozen, which is exactly what I wanted. And now we're preparing to wash seedless watermelons. I got 4 bins here and 3 bins up in front of the forklift ready to go. And we'll put the clean ones into these 2 bins. Emma, Steven, and Elijah are currently down harvesting eggplant. I need 8 tubfuls. While they're doing that, I'm gonna finish working on divvying up all my tomatoes onto our 4 box trucks and trailer. We are exclusively harvesting field tomatoes now, and they look really nice. This is from the wagon load we picked in the prior video. I think we picked 3,100 pounds. I had 4 skidfuls, and we're gonna tap into probably half of those today by the time we get those all divided up between the 4 box trucks and the 2 trailers. So they look really nice. They're starting to get a nice red, ripe color. It makes dividing them all up onto the lift gates really easy for me. I don't have to look through and find a bad tomato like that was happening when I was doing this with the hydroponic tomatoes. They just don't hold very well, and the skins are very thin and tender, and it doesn't take much to scratch them and damage them slightly, and then they start rotting, and then we got to repack the whole box. So haven't had that problem with these at all. These are beautiful, and it's a quick, easy process to get them all divided up on the lift gates. I'm still looking at each individual box because you never know when there might be a bad one in there. So we're putting 42 boxes on this lift gate for the Worthington truck, 27 on Clintonville, 24 on Powell, 24 on Dublin, and a 21 or 24 on the Logan County Farmers Market trailer. And then when the Marysville trailer gets home tonight from our satellite location, I will reload her with 24 boxes. At least make sure she has 24 boxes. I'm sure she's gonna bring a few home today, but we'll top her off. And since it's cool out, I think after lunch today, I'm gonna go ahead and load zucchini, cucumbers, and bell peppers. Get them all covered up, and they will be ready to go for tomorrow morning. That'll make my job a lot easier tonight, and I'll just have to worry about repacking the trailer that comes home at 4:30. I would say by 6 o'clock tonight, I'll be done with everything, but I'll be back out here at 3:30 tomorrow morning, loading up all the sweet corn and green beans and watermelon and cantaloupe. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna go to a farmer's market yet tomorrow. I may. I'm not sure how I'm gonna end this video today because I didn't show a lot of footage of harvesting. Mainly just me blabbering away about things. So we'll see how things wrap up here later on this afternoon, this evening. Maybe I'll take you along to a farmer's market tomorrow morning. It's another busy Saturday morning here at Wishwell Farms, loading box trucks for farmers markets in Columbus, Ohio. We're down to our final few good weeks of sales. This is the weekend prior to Labor Day weekend. Next weekend, hoping for one final huge day at the farmers markets, and then after Labor Day, things will start to tail off a little bit. It's 4:30 a.m. I just finished loading the Old Worthington Farmers Market truck in Columbus, Ohio. Let's hop in there and I'll show you what I got. As you can see, it is packed pretty full. There's not a lot of room to add much more. We'll start right here at the back of the truck. A basket of jalapeno peppers, 3 different types of salsa, garlic, 6 or 7 different flavors of maple syrup. These are just some display tubs and empty bean crates for propping things up off the ground, for making our displays look pretty. Bag racks, 3 15-foot pop-up tents. There's our tote full of market goodies to run a farmer's market. Up on top of the shelf, we have 2 credit card machines, a money box, 2 scales, a bunch of quart basket containers for green beans, larger bags up here for sweet corn and melons. We have 3 tubs of cucumbers, 3 tubs of bell peppers, 3 tubs of cucumbers, 6 tubs of zucchini, 42 boxes of field tomatoes in the back corner, 2 25-pound cases of Romas, 3 boxes of yellow tomatoes, 50 tubs of corn, so there's 200 dozen ears of corn. We have decided to back off our corn just a little bit. We were selling out of 60 and then 55, and even at 55 last week, she still brought a few home, so we're backing her off to 50 tubs of sweet corn, so that's still 200 dozen. Then we got a heaping bin full of seedless watermelons, a level bin full of cantaloupes with 15 bushels of beans on top. So the Old Worthington Farmers Market in Columbus, Ohio has been around since 1996, I believe. We have been attending since 2001. It is our biggest and best farmers market by far. No other farmers market I have ever attended over the last 30 years even comes close. We should generate at least $5,500 out of this truck today alone, possibly up to $6,000 if she sells out of everything. And then we have all of our smaller markets on down the line here that are all good farmers markets, but still doesn't compare to the Old Worthington Farmers Market. It's just so well established and gets so much foot traffic and well supported by the community. Emma will be here at 5:30 to take this truck to Columbus. She drives there by herself, but meets 3 others who live in the Worthington area. So that works out really good. She gets there about 6:30 a.m. She'll set up the tents and the tables and the tablecloths, kind of the infrastructure for our market stand, and then everybody else will arrive around 7 a.m. and help her finish setting up and kind of prepping everything and pre-stocking, if you will, like making up quart baskets of green beans from these bushel containers right here. So, we got 15 bushels. They're probably 90% sold in 1 pound increments in quart baskets. So it takes a lot of time to make those up, and they'll probably pre-quart 6 to 8 of these bushels ahead of time before the 8 o'clock start time. All right, I'm gonna hop down and finish working on these 3 other box trucks and 2 trailers, and we'll chat about farmers markets more throughout the morning. All right, Emma's here ready for the Worthington Farmers Market. Those are the last 4 flats of grape tomatoes for the year. Okay. So we are done with grape tomatoes, and some of them look a little rough. So I always give them to you because you got the most people that can pick through them and sort them out, get the bad ones out. Cantaloupes are $4, watermelons are $6, just like last week. And make sure the guys know to sell the biggest and the prettiest ones first. Yep. And then if they're little and ugly, at the end we can discount them if we need to. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. Looks like I got a tail light out. The top right one's just barely on. All right, well, it feels good to have 1 truck on the way to Columbus. And the next 2 are also done. You can see I got the rail gates closed up. I'm gonna pull them out of the barn, out in my driveway, so I can back up that green and white trailer and get started on it next. I just about have the Dublin truck done. I just gotta throw the corn in there and they will be good to go as well. I can hear Emma driving down the road. One of my biggest fears is having a truck breakdown or a flat tire on Saturday morning. It would be absolutely devastating because we rely so heavily on Saturday farmers markets. As I've mentioned in prior videos, Saturdays alone throughout the season generate almost 90% of our farm's revenue. So everything has to go like clockwork and according to plan on Saturday mornings. I do have 5 box trucks and I'm only using 4. But as of late, I've been using this 5th one out here. I know you probably can't see it, to take cantaloupes and watermelons up to our local farmers market where this trailer goes, this green and white trailer. So worst case scenario, if we had a breakdown with one of these trucks on the way to Columbus, I would have to offload those 3 melon bins in that extra truck real quick, or go up to the market and drop them off on the asphalt where I think they would go and leave the pallet jack there. And then I would make a beeline down the highway to the broken down truck, and we would have to transfer everything into that empty box truck and send them on their way. And then I would have to have someone follow me or at least come and pick me up after we got the box truck moving again. And then I'd have to figure out a way to get the box truck home. Probably a cousin, brother, neighbor, or someone to pull it home. All right, things are going good so far. It's only 5:30, we're making good progress. I am finished. Every truck and trailer is done, and I did it in record time today. It's only 7 a.m. So 3 hours instead of 4 hours getting everything done today because I didn't film. It's unbelievable how much time it takes for me to have the camera running, setting it up, explaining things. So it was kind of nice to not have to do that today. So everybody is either at market or en route to the market, except this one. And I actually have time to go inside and enjoy a cup of coffee. At 7:30, I will be taking that box truck up to our hometown farmers market just 4 miles down the road to unload 2 bins of seedless watermelon and a bin of cantaloupe for Nikki. And I'm gonna take you along with me. Stay tuned. I'll see you next at the Logan County Farmers Market. All right, I'm up here at the Logan County Farmers Market and I just unloaded our cantaloupe and watermelons. We have them all on display, ready to go. It's 8 a.m., so customers should start trickling in here shortly. Let's go take a look at the stand and we'll walk around the market. So we brought 2 bins of seedless watermelon. Got one over here with the cantaloupes. And here's the second one. And I put those 2 big Bertha melons in here. They're both 32.5 pounds. That is a steal for $6. Corn's looking real nice. I'll just give you a quick walk around here. 3 bushels of green beans. We didn't pick enough bell peppers. I had to short the trailer with bell peppers. Cucumbers, zucchini, jalapenos, bunches of tomatoes today. I threw 20 boxes on here. We didn't have any last week, so hopefully they go well this week. I don't have high expectations for the eggplant. Last week, I think she sold 1. Looking real good. Some of our relish, salsa. There's Joel's 3 varieties of salsa. Corn and bean, pineapple, and pico. Well, before it gets busy here, let's do a little walk around and look at some of these stands. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Pretty good. Man, you have a nice assortment of veggies here today.
Yeah, they've been pretty busy this one.
Yep, peak season.
Yes, it is.
Whatever's happening here isn't happening yet. Usually they're decked out with baked goods. Good morning.
I just wondered, I mean, if it was just kind of a dead right now, so it's time to start taking off.
We just started taking off. I didn't see another
That is everything. Pretty small market. Nothing happening yet. And as soon as this little breakfast wagon gets rolling, I'm gonna get me a breakfast bowl. A breakfast bowl sounds good. And I just realized that this canopy they're using on their trailer is from the same company mine is from, Rainbow Industries in Springfield, Ohio. So this is really sharp with the black color. And it's on a little like dump trailer, single axle dump trailer. Yeah. Rainbow Industries has some great products. So if you're interested in building out something like what we got over here on our produce trailers, or like what they're using, you can see it's a lot smaller. It's only like 8 feet long, almost half the size of ours. But you can do a lot in these little trailers, and they're very quick and convenient, simple to use. This is the breakfast bowl. Potatoes, eggs, cheese, broccoli, zucchini, cauliflower, onions, peppers. Really good. Things are starting out a little bit slow here today. It's about 8:30. It's still early, but hopefully the traffic picks up and we can sell a bunch of produce because I don't want to load all this back up and take it home. Fortunately, things are starting to pick up a little bit. It's almost 9 a.m. Folks are starting to come out. I feel like when it's cloudy and cooler out, after school starts, after sports season starts, you know, things get moving a little slower. It's just the nature of the business. Hopefully next week we'll still be really busy because it's Labor Day weekend. We usually do really well. However, and I mentioned this earlier, the Texas-Ohio State game is a home game in Columbus next Saturday at noon. And that usually hurts our farmers market sales pretty bad. But it is what it is. We'll still load up with everything and be hopeful for a good day. All right, I'm gonna head home and relax for a few hours before everybody starts rolling home from Columbus at 1 p.m. All right, our huge Saturday farmers market day is finally over. And we did fantastic. I am very happy with how things went overall. The only thing that was slightly down was tomato sales. And I kind of expected this because in late August, everybody has tomatoes. Farmers are bringing their tomatoes to the market. There's backyard gardeners and home gardeners that have plenty of their own tomatoes. So there's a lot of supply out there, but just not enough demand. So I was hopeful that tomato sales would hold steady or even do better this week because we had so many big, beautiful field-grown tomatoes, but I kind of expected it would be down a little bit. But overall, we did really well. So one thing I wanted to address before I wrap up this video is the question that I posed to you guys a couple videos back about visiting other farms and interviewing the owners and just telling their story during my off season. And I had an overwhelming positive response to doing that. So I am planning on visiting several pumpkin operations in October because October's pumpkin season, right? I would also like to visit an apple orchard, possibly in Western Michigan, along Lake Michigan somewhere. So I have a couple pumpkin farms picked out in Pennsylvania that I'd like to visit, and one in Missouri, and possibly even in Arkansas, because my wife and I are going to be traveling through Arkansas in late October. And if pumpkin season is still happening, I would like to stop and visit a couple pumpkin farms out there as well. So if you guys have any suggestions of other pumpkin farms in central or western Pennsylvania, western New York, maybe even Michigan, or an apple orchard in western Michigan, Missouri or Arkansas, or any of those states between Ohio and Arkansas, please let me know down in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate that. Folks, this is where we're going to wrap this one up today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you all again next time, down on the farm.